come out of lottery funds, which is the economic development.
I would just add to one thing that in my experience in dealing not on the state level with policy and funding and things, but on a more local and regional things I've dealt with, oftentimes people will ask you to identify what pot you want the money from, because then they can say, oh, well, that's not our pot, so we don't have to talk to you. So it's actually not like sometimes that question is not how can we help you, it's how can I, even though I believe your thing, how can I find a reason to step back? So I would just say that approach not only gives an opportunity to include everyone, but it also takes away people's ability to step out. Or it makes it harder for them to sort of write you out.
Yes. I wanted to ask how you're tracking your successes in Montana and here in Oregon from the previous legislation. How do you track that success in order to go back for another ask?
We don't actually have a evaluation system in place to see the change in how much. Oh, I'm sorry. The question was, how are we tracking the success of the bill so that we can go back and ask for more in the next legislative session? So,
Or the success of the farm to school programs. Have they increased in number?
or the success of the farm to school programs.
How many farmers are involved?
Right, and so that's that is actually where it's handy to have the food corps team for us in Montana, because we have part of their job, each of the food corps volunteers' job is to track how much the institution is purchasing, so they can know, what they're up to. So that's what we do, is kind of do it at an individual site-by-site basis.
In trying to take everyone's needs into account, there was definitely so where's the funding for the tracking that's written in here? So that does then require some follow-up assistance, technical assistance, to figure out how tracking might work. But getting it in there means that you will have it written in, that there will be a report or something for them to look at next time.
And I would just say for the three policy approaches we pursued, that the position of the Department of Agriculture passed in the sense that they saw the widespread momentum and were excited about it and actually put it into their baseline budget. So they created the position. So we didn't write it, so they didn't necessarily put it into an evaluation component. And then when we created the position in the Department of Education, we originally had an evaluation component, but it shot up the fiscal attached to it so high that what it says now is, looking to the mug, but I think I have it in my head, that the coordinator will will report to the legislature, because there's also a lot of hesitancy on the state of from the legislature to pay for evaluation. And then this is really exciting for me, but I hope for you guys too. But for that third component of the 7-cent reimbursement / investment, this is where the resource organization and partnerships really come in. The Kaiser Permanente Community Fund at the Northwest Health Foundation is actually funding a pilot prospective research study on what would be the implications of the 7 cents. And so EcoTrust, in partnership with Portland Public Schools, so large urban school district, and then a small rural school district in Jervis, actually gave almost $200,000 to them to purchase organic agricultural products. And then here at EcoTrust, we are looking at participation rates, we're looking at balance sheets, So it's sort of a prospective policy.